Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce over 8 new characters in this story by director J.J. Abrams that'll be used in a way in order to evolve the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren in this story from start to finish of Episode 9. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one of the characters that a lot of fans are really looking forward to is, of course, the new villain, also known as Vance/the Dark Acolyte, that is going to have a big connection to that of Darth Sidious and/or his Sith spirit. Now, what's really intriguing about Episode 9 is that we do know that director J.J. Abrams is trying his very hardest in order to really bring back the prequel trilogy vibe into the third act of Episode 9, where we get a lot of lightsaber action at the very end of this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this film. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of elements of both Rey and Kylo Ren, with both of their lightsabers locked into place against the villain's lightsaber, also known as the Dark Acolyte. It said that one of the scenes involves the Acolyte force-pushing Rey around 20 feet across the battle area into a wall, where Kylo is still fighting against him in a fast-paced fashion. The next describes the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker appearing behind Rey and placing his hands on her back, where she is described to begin to stand up. This is said to be a scene in which the Acolyte uses a burst of Force lightning against Kylo, where the Acolyte, who is now being controlled by Sidious, is said to see the Force ghost of Luke helping Rey. The Acolyte is described to be angry and charges toward Rey as the Force ghost of Luke vanishes, where it's said that just as Luke vanishes, Rey is able to get right back up and fight the new foe, and gain the upper hand for some time while protecting Kylo Ren. So, I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that the new villain in this story really is going to be the key, the tool, if you will, in order to force the interactions between both Rey and Kylo Ren. But this one sequence in particular is what really impresses me, is how the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker briefly gets involved in the fight between both Rey, Kylo, and the Dark Acolyte. Now, this is the moment in which it is described that Luke Skywalker's Force ghost is helping Rey in some way, shape, or form, which could very well bring us a call back to one of the Legends powers that was, of course, used by a lot of characters in there, such as Force Ghost, called Force Transfer, and other Jedi as well. Now, there's a real great possibility that this is the moment in which we do get to see Rey actually being able to fight the Dark Acolyte to the point where she's able to get the upper hand. Now, she gets the upper hand in this scenario. We're not quite sure exactly how long it's going to last before Rey is not going to have a great chance against the Dark Acolyte. So the other piece that I do want to go over, though, is how the Dark Acolyte uses a burst of Force lightning against Kylo Ren that causes him to fly across the room as well, where this is the moment in which the Dark Acolyte takes a glance and sees the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker. This is when the Dark Acolyte is indeed Sidious, where the spirit of Sidious takes over the body of Vance and is able to lock eyes on the Force ghost of Luke, which makes him very angry and makes him charge toward Luke's Force ghost, and the Force ghost of Luke just vanishes and Rey gets right back up and goes up against him. So this sounds like a very intriguing scene between the 4 different characters, between Kylo, Rey, Luke, and of course Vance as a character. So the whole entire thing involving the new villain, in case you guys did not know, is that this is indeed a big idea by J.J. Abrams and Chris, taken directly from Legends material and incorporating it into Episode 9 as a way in order to progress the characters of Kylo Ren and Rey. Now, I'm starting to wonder exactly where this fight is taking place while all of this is happening. Is this taking place on board of the Death Star 2 wreckage, or could it very well be during one of their flash fights for all we know? And that's the one thing that we do want to go over as well, is that we also know that this movie is going to introduce a lot of elements of the Star Wars franchise that fans have never seen before on the big screen, such as the flash fights and evolving the use of Force bonds and flow walking and stuff like that. And now in this scenario, we have all these 4 characters having a moment with each other where it's really going to lead to a serious situation between the character of Sidious, Kylo Ren, and even the new villain that bounces back and forth between Sidious. Now, what I like about this is that the new villain is said to be based off of a Legends Sith character, while at the same exact time applying elements of Emperor Palpatine that will be voiced by Ian McDiarmid. Now, a lot of people have been very excited to see exactly how Ian is going to voice Emperor Palpatine in the scenes. We're not quite sure if he's actually going to be the Palpatine that we all know and love by appearance per se. The one thing that we do know is that Vance as a character does indeed have an appearance change. Once the Spirit of Sidious takes over, his face literally changes from the dark energy that's taking over his body. So you can really see what JJ's trying to do in order to have the new villain differ from the moment in which he's taken over by the Spirit. Anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.